So you sent a letter, you and Mr. Comer sent a letter to Secretary Becerra. What do you want here? And are you going to investigate Anthony Fauci should you take the control and the majority in the House?
Yes, we definitely are. Representative Comer, myself, Senator Paul, Senator Johnson, we are definitely, if the American people put us back in charge, we are definitely going to do this, because we now know, without a doubt, that Dr. Fauci knew on January 31st and February 1st that this thing came from a lab. The top scientists in the country were saying it came from a lab. One scientist says, we got the notes now from the conference call on February 1st. One scientist says, I don't see how this can happen in nature, but it would be easy to do in a lab. And yet, just in a matter of days, they changed their position, write the article that appears in Nature Medicine magazine, which then gets cited in the now famous letter in the Lancet that became the gospel for the fact that Fauci can go out and tell people it didn't come from a lab, when in fact they knew it did. And the interesting thing is, and we point this out, we just learned this last week, the two doctors who were most adamant that this thing came from a lab early on. One is Dr. Christian Anderson. On January 31st, 2020, he says this to Dr. Fauci in an email. He says, virus looks engineered, virus not consistent with evolutionary theory. So he knew it came from a lab, but they changed their position. And a few months later, guess what? They get $8.9 million grant. Both him and Dr. Gary, the guy who said it couldn't happen naturally, they change their position and get an $8.9 million grant from Dr. Fauci.